Tell me about the conversations that you're having on the ground here in KL. You know, we see this turmoil, I guess, in markets, a little bit of a breather here today, but separate it to the noise. What are we really seeing fundamentally here in Malaysia and Asia so far?
Thank you very much, and pleasure to be here. I actually find this conference or symposium very timely because the main topic refers to sustainability and inclusiveness. And those are really the objectives that we all want to achieve. The OECD is therefore providing advice to governments and central banks and all players, basically, to promote better policies for better lives. And that better lives meaning it has to be sustainable and also inclusive. So we're very happy that those long-term objectives, consistency with the Sustainable Development Goals.
How far is Asia, though, right now when it comes to this investment theme? Do you think that there's still quite a lot of catching up to do to the rest of the world?
Oh, I think the figures coming out are really very strong, and Asia really has a good prospect of doing better, and it has been actually performing quite well.
I want to take it back to what we're seeing when it comes to the economic fundamentals, because it seems like in terms of the markets, there has been a bit of a shift, I guess, fundamentally in the narrative. Before it was that, you know, tax cuts in the U.S., that could lead to perhaps better growth. That's why we're seeing kind of, you know, Treasury yields moving higher. And we see more of a wage picture here on Friday, which kind of led to inflation concerns as well. And now it seems like things are back in reverse. Kind of play through in your mind right now, what has actually fundamentally changed?
Well, I don't think at this stage we can say anything definitive about a fundamental change. I think it is still early days, and of course that doesn't mean we can be complacent, but at the same time I think we should look at the broader picture and also be able to focus on the longer term structural reform. That is, well, markets fluctuate, and of course they have to adjust from time to time. But on the other hand, I think those movements should not derail the efforts of governments to pursue their structural reform measures and
just focusing on tax reform in particular. I mean, there is a lot of assumptions here on what kind of growth it could lead to, whether this is just a short-term sort of remedy or actually sustainable long-term growth. How do you view it? How does the OECD view it?
Well, of course, it's a bit difficult to generalize. Each country has embarked on some different tax reform measures. But, in this region, you have countries that have been adopting the GSTs, the goods and services tax. I think those reforms would, in the longer term, certainly be conducive to more investment and particularly sustainable.
But given just kind of what we see in the U.S., a corporate tax rate that's been cut, do you think it's a race to the bottom now here in Asia as well?
Well, I wouldn't say that. I think, for the U.S. in particular, there is some justification to this reform in the corporate tax rate. And again, I don't think we should be talking about a race to the bottom at this stage. It's more that we, of course, have to look at each country's strategies for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals in this region and cater for better tax regimes.